I don't know what we're doing. And I think it's time people talk about it.
I think I know what we're doing.
That's a good clap.
It's a solid clap.
Yeah.
You asked for it.
I did, and
Yeah.
I'm happy that I did, and I think you did a good job.
I'm super strong. That's how you got that sound. I don't know if you knew that.
I wasn't going to do it because it would have sounded like...
Speaking of strong, it's not exactly strong, but I think one miss for the Infinity Saga, I personally think, is in the comics, as I'm sure you know, Tony had Cap teach him how to fight. So just in case he didn't have his suit, he could still kick some ass. I feel like that should have been part of the storyline. Just saying.
I like the idea that it happened off screen, and he exhibited it in Iron Man 3 when he was...
He did. He did look a little more...
suitless for a lot of it. Like he had like a glove.
Yeah. But he looked, he was definitely, he was doing that thing when you hit the wood and...
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they did think about that. Who knows? Maybe. Oh, caffeine.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is really riveting material.
Absolutely. It all is.
I think people are going to really love this.
What better to know than what happened to nobodies when they were 12 years old?
Hey, this is the Remember the Times podcast.
Hello,
I'm Mitch. This is AJ. And AJ, what the hell? What are we doing here? What is the point of this? Why do we think anybody would give a shit?
So my idea started over the pandemic when I was trying to figure out how I could keep my music career moving forward. And if anybody out there does not know me, who's listening to this, I'm a musician, as is Mitchell Davis here. And I also, would you say I'm not OCD? On occasion.
I think OCD is a specific kind of diagnosis that you can receive, and
right.
You haven't received that diagnosis. But me, as an armchair psychiatrist, OCD is shit.
Right. You know that. I like making lists. I have a list of every show I've ever played. Yeah, that's another thing. Me and Mitch have been bandmates for 20 years. We've been writing and such and performing.
Jesus.
I have played, I actually just passed 1,820 shows, lifetime. Yeah, that's a lot. So, but in those 1,800 shows, I pretty much remember everything, mostly because of the list, but also just in general, I feel like I have a pretty good memory, at least better than yours.
Yeah, I famously have a terrible memory. So we figured we'd go through a bunch of our old shows together, and I thought I would make for a good audience surrogate, because even though I was there, I don't remember anything. And you can tell me what I did at these things.
Yeah, you probably don't want to know a lot of it, but I remember, and you're going to find out. And yeah, I think just a lot of it. Normally, people just see the 45 minutes on stage, but there's so much lead up to a little tiny performance, and so much after every performance. And let's be honest, we've had a lot of very ridiculous things happen to us over the years. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning when we were little guys. And we're calling it Remember the Times because, well, first off, we're remembering things. That's exactly what we're doing.
You are.
I'm remembering things.
Sometimes you're going to tell me things, and I'm going to be like, hey, I remember that.
I remember that. Most of the time, you're not going to.
Half the time, 3/4 of the time, I'm going to be like, that happened?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Second reason, me and Mitch and about, 8 of our high school classmates all have Remember the Times tattoos. Something we chose to do. Mine's on my back. Mitch is on his sweet little calf there.
Sweet little calf. This bad boy looks like a bag of chains.
It did walk you all the way here.
It did. Let me tell you. I walked to this recording today, and it was like almost a mile and a quarter.
Oh, it took you so long to get here.
It took me a really long time. When I was walking, I said we. It was just me. We're in the hill section of Manhattan Beach is where I was walking through, and there's a bunch of like little mini micro mansions and that whole thing, like $6 million houses.
Yeah.
I walked by a house that had it was all behind a big privacy hedge. It was fancy, and they were blasting The Cure out of every. I was walking by from one side, and it was coming out of the backyard. And then when I got to the other side of the house, I heard it coming out of the other side. So it was the entire house was ringing The Cure, just blasting out of her. And it taught me that money doesn't buy happiness. And somebody in that mini mansion.
Somebody's so sad.
They were going through some shit, and it was. I thought it was poignant. I thought it was important, and I took note of it, and I was like, I'm gonna talk about it on our podcast.
Because we only talk about world events, and I'm very up to date.
Yeah. And these are evergreen episodes, which
Absolutely.
means that you can listen to them at any time of the year. So who knows what's happening right now? Is it March? Is it October? We don't know. Is it 2022? Is it 2060?
You could have. Is it 20? It's 2022.
Yes.
And we're 30.
So 30 something.
Whatever it is, it's sad.
Yeah.
At this point.
Closer to 40 than 30. And that's a bummer. And that's why we're doing a podcast.
That's why we're doing it. And the last reason, so we have a tattoo. Remember the Times. We're remembering things. And we also wrote a song together called Remember the Times, which I dare say is one of our that band's, now defunct band's, most quote-unquote famous songs, if you will.
Yeah.
For whoever might have heard that.
Locally famous.
Yeah.
Locally world famous is kind of the name of our game.
So that's why we're doing it. Please bear with us. If you could not tell, we have never hosted our own podcast before. This is episode 1, which will probably be titled The Beginning, because it is the beginning.
Just because you said that on the podcast, I'm going to come up with a different name.
God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably taking care of that stuff, right? We haven't really discussed it.
You're the computer guy.
I'm the computer guy.
You are the computer
guy.
guy.
If you couldn't tell.
Your job's with computers. Mine is not.
Yours with guitars and stuff.
I can play the guitar. I can sing ish, and I've accrued no other skills in my life.
I know it took us like an hour to figure out how to use microphones, and then we have to use this laptop for the microphone. So if the audio is a little fucked up, then blame the guy who made his career of music.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I didn't know being a musician needed to be you need to be good at computers, because that wasn't the case 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's true.
But
we were playing guitars with just rocks and sticks.
I don't even know. You know, in remembering all of this stuff, or recalling all of this stuff, I don't remember having a tuner in high school, like a tuning pedal to make sure our guitars were in tune.
It was
Did
obvious.
we have one?
No. We would start sets. Hey, give me open top string, and go, and try to tune it to each other while we're playing.
Oh dear.
It was the worst thing for everybody besides us.
That's the most punk rock thing I've heard today. That's very punk rock.
Pure slop.
Wow. Well, that's going to go well with these stories. But so before we get into it, Mitch, I got you a present.
Oh.
Yeah. To start off here,
and surprising.
The reasons are threefold.
Okay.
First, congratulatory first episode for us. I think that's in order, right? Wouldn't we say? Yeah. Secondly, I don't remember what it was.
Is it
I'm drunk.
Is it lingerie?
Oh my god. You have to wear it on stage. But we're both big fans. And thirdly, the second reason is I'm sorry. It's a preemptive sorry, because I'm probably gonna make fun of you a lot on here.
That's reasonable.
Going forward.
I think if anybody is actually watching or listening to this, that's part why they're in.
Yeah, I'm gonna be crying a lot on here, guaranteed, of laughter. And third, you're, as everyone's going to find out, I figured, you're kind of a pansy, and you might need some liquid courage to get through this.
Okay.
Yeah. So you ready? Ready for this?
That's real nice.
Is that fair?
Yeah, cool.
Is that fair?
Very good, strong start to the first episode.
Yeah. And we're both big fans of the band. So I got you a bottle of Slipknot's Finest
Oh, what?
to start off.
All right.
Just don't embarrass me. Okay?
Very cool. I will help myself.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I get to keep the glass too?
No, that's my dad's.
Well, then this is bullshit. I don't want any of this. That's cool. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's another reason why AJ remembers everything and I remember nothing. Is AJ hasn't really drank at all since high school. Like maybe a glass of white wine here
Maybe
and there.
less than 10 times.
Yeah, and
I would say.
you don't enjoy imbibing alcohol.
Not a fan. This, on the other hand.
Bang
caffeine.
energy. Bang it.
It's the choice of a new generation.
But yeah, I've enjoyed drinking for longer than I've been legally allowed to.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
thank you.
Always ends well. You're welcome.
I will not fight with this bottle while we're trying to record.
That's fair. You can do it next episode or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, I'll bring it to the next episode.
it's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool,
So
thank you.
yeah.
I got you fucking nothing.
That's fine. That's fair. I just appreciate you doing this with me.
I'm here, and yeah, that's pretty much it. My presence is your present.
That's fine. That's fair. That's totally fair. And all right, so we're going to dive into it. Episode 1, Show 1, 1999. So we're going back 23 years. Actually, we're going back 24 years because I'm going to tell you how this all started here. The band that Mitch joined and all this stuff. 1998, the South Bay. For those of you that don't know the South Bay, it's like Manhattan Beach, Hermosa, and Redondo of Los Angeles County in California. Mitch grew up in Hermosa. I grew up in Manhattan. And I went to Catholic school, American Martyrs. 9 years of Catholic school. Obviously, it worked tremendously.
I feel like you're saved, and everything you do after this is kind of like you're good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I went to confession as, you know, I'm sure I had a lot to say when I was 8.
What'd you do?
No idea.
What'd you do this week? And then the priest is kind of like, oh, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Tell me about
To be fair, I think I still hold the record for detentions. One day in math class, we threw out the whole curriculum and just did my a pie chart of my detentions versus the rest of the class.
So they took your shitty behavior and turned it into a learning experience for all the other kids, not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
For everybody else. A lesson in statistics and data analysis. Very nice.
Yeah, it was bad. I actually had way too much fun at that school, probably for all the wrong reasons. But yeah, so I went to Catholic school. The 3 main players here that this episode is going to be about is me, my younger brother Chris, and Mr. James Grant. All 3 of us went to Martyrs, and we all grew up here, and we wanted to start a punk band. Growing up in the South Bay was one of the big reasons why we wanted to start a punk band. For those of you who don't know, our high school alone that me and Mitch went to, Costa, the Descendants, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, and Pennywise have all graduated. Maybe not graduated, but went to our high school.
They attended.
They attended our high school. So that's a lot of legendary punk bands to live up to, which we have lived up to in no way.
No.
No, we super dropped the ball there. But that's what we're dealing with. So just being around that growing up was really intense. In Hermosa, there was a old record shop, Scooters. I'm sure you remember.
Loved Scooters.
In Pennywise's Same Old Story video. Me and Chris would ride our bikes down there. Chris, my brother, and just buy records. That guy knew everything.
Yeah, everything.
Unbelievable. I remember I went in there to buy the latest Throwdown CD at the time, and in front of me, he was this guy was buying the new Dr. Dre album, and he was just giving all the facts, everything he would want to know of why he would want to buy that. And then right after that guy, so he went from Dr. Dre and came and told me, bought fucking Throwdown, not anywhere near it. And he's like, yeah, the guitar player just became the singer. It's a little different now. I was like, how? What?
Yeah.
He's basically John Cusack in
High Fidelity.
In High Fidelity, yeah, just unbelievable.
Yeah, this is your
Encyclopedia.
job.
Yeah, he's perfect for it.
You get to hang out here and talk music all day.
So
That's the
sick.
thing you can do.
Yeah, very jealous. But we bought a lot of records there, and that, and me and my brother's babysitter, Sean Leffler, who actually ended up being a UFC fighter. He has some UFC training gyms. Awesome dude. He will be coming up in later episodes for sure. He was babysitting Chris one summer when I was at a basketball camp in New Hampshire for like 2 weeks or a month or something. And I get back and Chris has Legacy Brutality, and we're listening to it all the time. We're listening to Sean's band, who we were just obsessed with, Code 7. I'm sure we probably showed it to you back in the day. Yeah. They were awesome. And that was really our introduction to punk. We got Misfits, AFI, Anti-Flag, Idiot Fingers Louie, Pennywise, which, local heroes, and I mean, they're pretty worldwide.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Yeah. So
it's wild to me that you say Sean Loeffler, my babysitter. I only, so I knew Code 7. I didn't know Sean. And then I knew Fail for Fun later on when we would play with them, like the gnarly metal band that we were looking up to.
Wishing we were.
And then the UFC fighter, Sean Loeffler, and it's like, he's my babysitter.
Yeah. He actually went to Martyrs as well.
Did he really?
Him and his sister. And they had this like big buddy program where the 8th graders would take a little kid under their wing. He had Chris, my brother. And so that just morphed into him being our babysitter. And
you mean Chris, who famously grew up to become a Catholic bishop?
Yes, that one.
So Martyrs right now is pretty bad record.
Well,
I mean, it depends on the record that you're trying to set.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So there's me and Chris, and then our other bandmate James. I think it probably worked out exactly how you wanted to.
Yeah.
Your wife.
He followed a path of like good education and everything. As did my wife. My wife also went to American Martyrs and knew all of you guys.
Oh yeah, which is weird.
But I didn't meet her until way later.
Way later. Yeah, knew almost everybody in this podcast before you did.
It's a small town.
It is. It definitely is. But so this is 1998. Chris had already been playing drums for about 2 years, and James. I basically have everything to owe to James here because he suggested we start a band. I had wanted to start playing the guitar. I hadn't yet. So me and James both literally learned to play the guitar so we could start the band. So that was the end of 98. And we just enlisted Chris right away because he's the only drummer we knew. And we got 2 buddies. I'm sure for any YouTubers, we're going to find a age-appropriate picture of me, Chris, and James so we could see just what we're dealing with.
We'll think about it.
We'll see.
I might not have the time.
So we got our friends Joe on bass and David on keyboards.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a keyboard player right at the beginning. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Yeah, it was a 5-piece. So I started playing guitar in November 1998 at Dietz Brothers. That's where I started taking guitar lessons from the legendary Paul Stevens. He taught almost everybody that you know that you've played with guitar. He taught them. And this was my guitar for anybody on YouTube as well. Slammer from Hamer, my first electric guitar.
For people who are just listening to the podcast, he's holding a guitar up.
Yeah, this is my first electric. It is a Sunburst Slammer by Hamer. Every day I walked in to the shop, I was obsessed with it. And my parents got it for me when I was just before my 12th birthday. And we're also, while we're on the subject of my parents, we are filming and recording in their house in Manhattan Beach. This is absolutely not what it looked like when we grew up. This is a nice house.
It's a nice house.
The house we grew up in did not. Me and Chris lived in the garage because there wasn't enough rooms.
Yeah.
Which I think worked out really well for 2 high schoolers to be in a detached garage.
Yeah.
That's where
It was like a little flat.
Yeah, it was friggin' awesome. And
Didn't have a bathroom. But...
That's where we practiced. That's where we were so loud. Our friggin' neighbors called the cops on us every goddamn time we practiced. Love you guys. And so our first practice ever, I guess it would be 1999 because we moved in here in January 99. And we practiced in my parents' bedroom because they didn't have anything moved in yet. And I don't know why we decided to practice already because Chris's drums were not here. So Chris was drumming on paint cans.
Sure.
And is it called a horse? You know, like those like wooden...
sawhorse.
A sawhorse that would use for painting? I don't fucking know. You know what I'm talking about? Like you...
It's got two little
legs
and then a plank across the middle.
What do you do with that?
It's a sawhorse.
What is that for?
You can use it you put two of them together and you make a little workstation.
Right, yeah. Okay, you can see how handy I am.
Yeah.
So Chris was banging on that on our first practice. And James had wrote a song called Punk Rock Wannabe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all the words. I won't sing it.
Thank you.
For James's sake. But I know all the words. And he wrote that specifically because we had entered ourselves in the American Martyrs talent show upcoming that year. Amazing performance.
So I just want to point out and call it out. You remember all of the words to a song that was written but never recorded that you guys performed at your middle school talent show.
Yes.
And that's why this podcast exists.
And that's why this is happening.
Imagine how much math you could have done in high school if that brain power had shifted just a little bit to the right or to the left.
That tells me that I just did not want to do my homework.
I think so.
I had no issue.
I think so. I think your teachers were all wrong about you. You're not an idiot.
If I needed to memorize something, I remember I have over 4 hours of music on deck to play all the time. If you ask me how many times Undertaker won the belt back in the day, I knew all of that. I can tell you almost...
Super useful stuff.
Yeah, it's important to me.
Yeah. Who cares about PEMDAS?
Yeah, but if you want to know about a parallelogram, I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah.
And that's about that.
Yeah. But educations are different.
Probably should have gone to an art school. But then we wouldn't have met.
That's true.
And I wouldn't have, messed things up for you so bad, and you wouldn't be like this.
I could have been a doctor. God.
I don't know. Or, I don't know, maybe you would have just been even more punk rock and that would have been it.
Yeah, honestly, this is a later episode, but when you first brought me into the band, I was already on like a bad trajectory.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
yeah. So we'll see. Maybe
can I say that punk rock saved my life? Oh my god. Oh my god. Punk rock music saved my life.
So where are we at? So that was January 99. First practice. I honestly don't remember practicing after that. We had to have because there's no way we got down a song with one practice with paint cans for drums. So we must have practiced again. Yeah, right?
Once the drums actually showed up, practice as an actual band.
Absolutely.
Instead of like the Blue Man Group.
Yeah. I'm going to assume, and this is going to be a theme for probably the next couple episodes, I vaguely remember the keyboard line. And this is the same for like a lot of bass songs. Like in punk, like the bass is just gnarly, and I don't think we had the presence to understand that the notes still had to go with the guitar and not just be crazy. So the bass line and the keyboard made little to no sense.
It's called art, man.
Of the song. Yeah, like whatever.
If you're looking at it too closely, you're not seeing the big picture, and honestly, that's on you.
Yeah, so maybe I didn't get what they were doing, maybe. But yeah, so here we are. The very first show, I believe it was March 1999. Could have been April.
Dude, I just did a whole thing about your encyclopedic knowledge of shit, and then you're like, I don't remember the month.
I'm pretty close. 1999. Pretty close. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the timestamp. Oh, my dad recorded it, by the way.
Oh, good.
So if we can find that. Maybe we can put it on mute, put it up there for us or something in that thing.
I'm going to say maybe that's like a social post. but this isn't, it's an audio medium that we decided to add video to.
Yeah.
We don't wanna lean too hard on
I
it.
believe the timestamp was March 12th, 99, but timestamps could be wrong, so I just don't want to. I don't
Yeah,
want
you
to
might have programmed the camcorder incorrectly.
Exactly, yeah. So we performed at the O'Donnell Hall, which is attached to Martyrs. It's in the whole pavilion. It's basically like an all-purpose room. There is a stage in there. They use it for the soup kitchen. They use it for I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. But
They probably use it for other things than a talent show.
yeah, but so
That's
they
what I'm saying.
had a talent show, and we our punk band entered the talent show. We tried to dress as punk rock as possible for this because we were a punk band, of course. I was wearing a muscle shirt. That's basically all I wore because all I did was basically play basketball up till
No
this point.
shorts?
Probably had shorts on. I'm assuming they were basketball shorts.
When you say that's all I wore,
All right, fine.
you need to clarify.
Shirt-wise,
Okay.
I had a backwards hat on and sunglasses. So
It's so punk rock.
right off the bat, not punk rock. But that's okay. David, the keyboardist, was wearing a leather jacket and had slicked his hair back. He basically looked like he was in Greece.
Yeah.
So
It's like a Halloween costume of punk rock.
also sunglasses. Again, missing the mark on the punk rock thing. Chris, my brother, and Joe on the bass had very baggy, big clothes, beanies, and sunglasses.
It's super hard.
And James had a John Elway jersey on with a beanie and sunglasses as well. So I don't know. This sounds like more we were in like Limp Bizkit.
Not a single member
Not
was
a
dressed
one.
punk rock.
No, not
No,
even
you-
close.
You guys were dressed new metal before new metal existed.
yeah. So
Groundbreaking, really.
I don't really know where we missed that. I mean, come on, James, you had straight A's. You should give me something here. No. Could have told me no. But anyways, so we missed the mark on the punk rock look. I was very nervous. I'm not nervous anymore, but I was very nervous at this show. I'm pretty sure I did the arm windmill thing at one
Cool.
point.
Very cool move.
Yeah. That's really all I remember from my part of it. Chris, the drums started off, it was like a little tom intro before the song really got in. We're up there, he's swinging his sticks, starts the drum intro, and one of the legs falls over. And he didn't stop. He got up and was like, kind of going like that, like had to reach his arm around to grab it. And yeah, so that's really telling of, so it fell over. But other than that, it went off basically smooth. And that was our first show. Besides that, it went pretty well. I would like to mention, honorable mention, because he will be coming up very shortly. Sean, James's younger brother, was doing a Spice Girls lip sync that night as well, dressed as the Spice Girls. Sean, you're
Super
welcome.
punk rock.
Yeah,
Uh,
just punk rock all around.
Arguably, doing a Spice Girls lip sync is more punk rock than what you guys did.
That is very fair.
On the spectrum, you guys were so far away from punk rock that Spice Girls lip sync was closer.
Yeah, you're probably right, 100%.
Well, it's
And
all
he-
about, it's
he
all
crushed
about bucking
He
nor-
crushed it.
bucking the norms and just shaking it up. Sean,
Yeah.
I see you.
We're gonna see a lot more of Sean. And that was it. That was the. Is that everything? We got all my notes here. Yeah, pretty much. That was the one and only time that lineup would play together. You will find out why next episode.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing. You didn't run the cliffhanger by me.
I didn't run a lot of things by you.
You actually ran nothing by me. But you know what? I'm excited for the next episode.
It's only. Don't worry. I was just setting the scene. Every episode, I would say, gets more silly and more ridiculous.
Well, so the thing is,
The stories go on.
we're running through 1,820 shows. You said
Of over 23 years.
over 23 years. We're talking 11, 12-year-old boys
Yes.
in a band right
Also
now.
true. Chris was 10.
Yeah, wearing Denver Broncos jerseys and backwards hats and beanies and sunglasses.
First performance.
Eventually, we get to the point where we're 18, 19, 23, where we're fighting we're young, dumb, full of cum. We're just a bunch of testosterone fueled monsters playing punk rock and metal.
So yeah, we lead up to that, but luckily
that doesn't happen right at the beginning.
It doesn't.
We're children.
It doesn't, but we're going to be skipping ahead because nothing much too happened after this. So next show is not 3 years in the future. So we're getting there.
Honestly, nothing really matters until I join the band.
That's fair.
That's coming up in a
coming
future
up soon.
episode.
To end off the first one, though, I think we should be doing. I'd like to give an MVP shout out for each one. Who I thought really did well that show.
And maybe someday we'll have like an MVP. It's the MVP.
Something like that. We can record that.
Yeah. I'll just do it. I'll do it live every time.
See, I'm gonna give mine first, and then based on what you heard, you can give yours. But
cool. I wasn't there. I was in a different city.
You were in HB and super punk rock, bro.
More punk rock than fucking John Elway.
100% true. But well, now that you brought it up, I'm gonna give my MVP to Mitch. No, not Mitch. You're Mitch. You're right there. I'm going to give it to James. James suggested we start the band. He wrote the song, and at 12 years old decided he was going to perform that live in front of the entire school. So I think that's MVP worthy because I was far too scared to do such a thing. Honorable mention, Chris, because his drum fell over and he did not stop the song. So those are mine. What do you think?
I think my decision is already going to be very obvious.
Nobody gets it.
My MVP is Sean for bucking all of your guys' norms and doing a lip sync as the Spice Girls that probably crushed it.
Guaranteed.
Yes. So this talent show, was there a winner, a loser, some sort of ranking hierarchy?
I don't believe so.
Well, Sean won.
Sean
did better than you guys.
Had to have won. Guaranteed we would not have won.
So then he's the MVP.
All right, Sean.
I'm right.
Sean's the MVP. There you go, Sean.
That'll be the last time.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening to episode 1. Come back for the cliffhanger of why this band lineup never played again.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to like, share, and subscribe.
And get a little more wasted first.
Bye.